What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another Angle of Pursuit podcast, your fantasy football, sports betting, and NASCAR home here at fakepigskin.com. I am your host, Kyle Robert. You follow me on Twitter at NotoriousKRO. With me once again is Brian Twining. What's up, Brian?
What's going on, Kyle? Man, what a crazy weekend that was of football with those 6 games. I'm still in shock over what we watched on Sunday night with the crescendo game, watching Pittsburgh just absolutely crap the bed, and
Yeah.
my picks, being
Yeah.
lighted into a blaze of fire and throw
Yeah.
away everything.
It wasn't great for either of us. I was horrible. You weren't much better. I went from a weekend where Ohio State beats Clemson, the Titans win the AFC South and get the 4th seed in the playoffs, and I win my home league that I've been trying to win for probably a decade. To watching Ohio State get throttled by Alabama and watching the Titans have arguably the worst game plan I've ever seen them play under Mike Vrabel. I'm not really sure, but yeah, it was a rough weekend for your boy. Interesting games. I had a nice bet on the Bills that I had them and I teased them and I teased the under and it just barely hit. Thankfully. But yeah, it was rough. I had the Bears that didn't work out. I did have Washington that worked out nicely. I was
That
really
was a good
hoping
call.
hoping that money line was coming through. Yeah, Saturday was okay. It was the Sunday games that were not so much. With that being said, we are going to jump into the divisional round. Last week's audio was really crappy, so apologies for that in advance. Hopefully it sounds better today. I got a new cable. Most of it I think was coming from my end, so hopefully it sounds better. Sorry about that. That's not what we're trying to put out. That being said, Brian, we have a lot of fun stuff to talk about today. We got 4 games. The divisional round is here. But the wild card, the 6 games was incredible. Like
that was fantastic.
If we go back to an old style, which I would be pretty shocked if that happens at this point. But like the 3 games on Saturday, 3 games on Sunday, if you have to do family stuff, you can find the Saints Bears game that you know is going to be a blowout and not watch that. You can find things to times in windows. But if you want to just sit back and watch football for 2 straight days and enjoy every minute of it, it's glorious.
Yeah, I'm actually quite surprised that the NFL hasn't thought about expanding to this level, until this season. And it took a pandemic to get them to expand it one more team because, who the hell doesn't want 3 games on a Saturday and 3 games on a Sunday, which takes up the entirety of the day? And for us sports fans who are looking to bet, like the playoffs, they kind of get dull in that aspect because, you're betting on one game and that gets kind of boring. So, having the 3 games on both days was fantastic.
Yeah, and I think I think it makes a lot of sense because then you're a lot more inclined to get that 1 seed. Like a lot of times, I'm the 2 seed. What do I need to fight a little? I don't need to play my guys this weekend because we what 1 or 2 we still get the bye. It doesn't really matter. Where I think that having that 1 seed matters a lot. And is really interesting. And then obviously, we're in full force right now. We got football playoffs, we got college basketball, we got NBA, hockey started up last night. NASCAR's around the corner.
Yeah.
Things are looking up. I'm really excited. But yeah, let's jump into it. If you are enjoying what we're doing, if you are enjoying the content, make sure you mash that thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. Let us know in the comments your favorite bet for the divisional round. A total, a side, a player prop, all that good stuff. So let's jump into it, Brian. We got 4 games to discuss, and we'll start with we're gonna go chronologically. So if you're jumping in, it's Saturday and the Packers game already started, skip ahead a little bit. You'll find all the games you're looking for. Let's talk Packers. Let's talk Rams. Rams go to Seattle, get a big win. The Wolford wagon gets absolutely murdered. Wheels taken off, taken to the hospital. Jared Goff comes in. But to me, this game was more of a Cam Akers, awesome, and the defense looked great. And then the Seattle offense, but that's an off-season storyline. I'm not really sure what happened there. But I guess for me, this game is really interesting. So what are we doing with the Rams? Because this is a Packers team that has had a lot of issues stopping the run, and in comes Cam Akers, who looks great. But this is a Rams team that we've had big question marks about all year, that we don't really love, and playing a Packers team that is the 1 seed, has looked great, and has dominated all year long. Where's your head at with this game? And if where are we betting? We got the Rams 6.5 point underdogs. We got an over under 45.5.
I probably in the minority here, but I've been riding them the last few weeks, and I love the Rams getting close to a touchdown in this spot. I think their defense is one of the defenses in the NFL that's set up to defeat a team that runs the style of offense that Green Bay does, that is funneled through one guy on the outside, where Jalen Ramsay is going to be glued to Devontae Adams this Sunday. And Jalen Ramsay is as close to a shutdown corner that we have in the NFL right now as anyone that we've seen. I mean, he's basically Revis Island in 2021 right now, or 2020, 2021. And then outside of Adams, I mean, you don't really know the kind of production you're going to get from Lazard or Valdez-Scantling. And then with their ability to get to the quarterback with just their front four, the Rams, and then maybe bringing an extra blitzer, I think that's going to play a crucial part in this game, is the fact that Aaron Rodgers has been playing behind probably the league's best offensive line this season. Now that David Bakhtiari's out, that's a gaping hole there on the outside. They just brought in a guy who's going to be starting, I think, at right guard this week as well, which if you have anybody on the interior that's not going to be healthy and or is just jumping into this, having to go up against even a less than 100% Aaron Donald, that is not good going into this game. So this game for me sets up beautifully for me to jump on even the Rams money line in this spot, knowing that all the talk is about Jared Goff is crap and cold weather. But if they play the kind of game that they want to play and they're able to limit what Rodgers does with Devontae Adams, I think the Rams are going to be able to control the clock on the ground, keep this game extremely close, and not have to rely on Jared Goff to win them the game. So I'm all over LA with the points right now.
Yeah, I mean, the Rams have two things that travel really well, even in cold weather. They have a great run game, and having Andrew Whitworth is a big get back. We'll see what Aaron Donald's health is. As you mentioned, Jalen Ramsay, he did give up like 100 yards and 2 touchdowns to DK, but most of that was later stages of the game when it was kind of out of hand. So, it's hard to tell. But yeah,
and that one fluky 50-yard.
Yeah, that's true. So I have a few things for you, a few nuggets. Aaron Rodgers in his career is 119, 84, and 5 against the spread. He's 61, 35, and 4 at home. And off a bye, he's 10, 5, and 1. And that's with basically 12 to 15 days, which he's had of rest between, obviously having that first round bye. So a lot of good things for the Packers. I want to see what their offense. I don't know. I feel like this opened at 7. It's down to 6.5. I feel like at 6.5, a lot of things are screaming back the Pack, and that always worries me. But I've been overthinking crap all year, and I don't want to go down that road.
I'll give you a couple quick nuggets on the Rams here because I'm on their side. I did a little more research on them. So the 6 games that they've lost this year have been by an average of 6.5 points, which is the current line. The most they've lost by this year, I believe, was 11 or so to Seattle a couple weeks ago. They're averaging only allowing 210 passing yards a game, and they've only given up a total of 19 passing touchdowns this year. So if we think that Aaron Rodgers, he's outer worldly, I'll give him that. He's the GOAT. But for Aaron Rodgers to do what he's been doing, throw 3-4 touchdowns, that's banking on him throwing 20% of the amount of touchdowns that the Rams have given up for an entire season. So I tend to lean with the numbers here, going with that ridiculously good defense in a playoff game, which is likely going to be freezing and, going to be a slow paced game as well.
So if I'm betting this game, I'm not touching the side. I think if I had to pick a side, I would pick the Packers, but as you mentioned, there's a lot kind of leaning the Rams way. I would be betting the over. The Packers are averaging 31.8 points per game at home. And over their they played 6 games this year where they've had a total at under 50 points. The over has gone 5-1. So when they expect the Packers to go crazy and 54, 58, 57, whatever it is. They tend not to get there as much, but and they keep that total under 50. Even against good defenses, the Packers have found ways to get there. So, I like the over here. 46 points, I feel like, is very approachable. It opened at, I believe, 47 or 48, and it's been bet down a little bit. I think it's at a much better number now. And if you buy the Rams, a 23, I guess 27-21 gets you there. If you like the Packers in a big, 31-13 game gets you there. Like there or 31-14, I guess. I don't know. I'm not really built for math at this point, but I feel like I'm all aboard the over in this one. I think both teams have enough. If the Packers run defense is crap and Cam Akers runs for $180 and 2 touchdowns, I think they get there. I think Aaron Rodgers can make some big plays. I think Robert Tonyan has a nice game here. And I think, I'm expecting, close to 50 points in this game and getting a total below 46. I'm all aboard, and I don't like betting overs.
Yeah, that's also kind of the way that I was looking at this game, because when you look at the Packers defense, also they have one of the best corners in the league as well, with Jair Alexander on the outside. But the one thing that will limit the ability of Green Bay to use him and his skill set is the fact that the Rams do not have a number one guy that they go into a week that is the alpha in that passing game. One week it'll be Robert Woods, then it'll be Cooper Kupp, then they'll get Josh Reynolds a little more involved, then they'll get the tight ends more involved. So if that's why for me, like I'm on the side of the Rams this week, because I just feel like the way that they play, the style that they play, is set up perfectly in this particular matchup going into the potential of getting into the NFC Championship game once again.
Yeah, no, I don't think the Rams money line is crazy. I think if the Packers win, they probably win pretty handily. But I don't know. This is going to be an interesting game. We have 4 really compelling games that I think you can make interesting conversations for all sides. Are we ready to move along? Oh, I will be looking at Cam Akers player props. If you have to be in on the Rams in order for him to really back Akers, but like some of his player props, like 70 something yards for rushing,
74.5 right now.
Yeah. You can couple the Packers have been attacked via the running back out of the backfield in the passing game. It's always scary to go with McVay because he likes to mix in different guys. But I think Cam Akers is kind of solidified, at least down the stretch here. We'll see going into next year what it looks like. But any other player prop things that tickle your fancy?
Yeah, so something else that I noticed right off the bat, just checking really fast, is the fact that Martez Valdez-Scantling's receptions total for this game is only 1.5. And in a game that Jalen Ramsay is going to be locked into Devontae Adams, I think you do see Green Bay kind of try to get the other guys involved early. And even in a scenario where I think the Rams win, I think Aaron Rodgers will have to kind of spread the ball around a little bit more than he's used to if they have a shot here. And so, I think to get 2 receptions as a guy who's playing, 60, 70% of the snaps with Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback, sure, I'll bet that. And it's plus money right now.
Yeah, that feels like a nice way to look. Let's head to the nightcap for Saturday. Baltimore Ravens plus 2.5 at the Buffalo Bills. We got a total right below 50. Where's your head at for this one?
So I got burned last week by 0.5 point with the Bills and the Colts. Just getting the under. I thought that game was going to get the over handily.
It should have, honestly. Like I got so lucky to cash my under ticket, even with the tees.
Yep. So again, in this game, sitting at 49.5, I'm going to be betting the over in this spot. I think both of these offenses are the style that they play are kind of what the opposing defense doesn't do as well. Like I know Baltimore has long been thought of as one of the best pass defenses in the NFL, but those guys are not the same on the outside with Marcus Peters and Jimmy Smith. They both kind of lost a step. Now you're going up against Stephon Diggs, John Brown, Cole Beasley, Gabriel Davis, and not to mention the guy who should be getting a ton of MVP votes this year. That's difficult to say. Josh Allen playing quarterback. And then the Bills defense on the other side, they struggle against the run. And what the hell does Baltimore do? They only led the NFL in rushing, averaging, close to 200 yards a game. So I think this is going to be another one of those up and down games all day.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with Baltimore because the Titans played like garbage last week, and it really had a shot to kind of win that game.
Yeah.
Had they not like just buried their head in the sand and keep pounding Derrick Henry for no reason, like at some point, like obviously it opens up, the more you run him, but like their lack of throwing with Ryan Tannehill has been awesome all year long was very baffling to me. I think as you mentioned, you can throw in Baltimore. I think there is going to be a lot of opportunities, whether it's Stephon Diggs or Gabriel Davis or John Brown. I just don't know what to do with the Ravens because, like, from an offensive standpoint, they look like obviously Lamar could run for days, and I love J.K. Dobbins, but like they only put up like 24 points in a game where it felt like they could have had a lot more. I'm a little nervous betting the over just because in a game where the Bills, I guess the Bills get up and crush them and throw all over them, that makes sense. But if you're a Baltimore believer, you think they lean on the ground game, they milk the clock, they keep Josh Allen and company on the sidelines, and this game is 21-20, 17 to 21, something like a lower scoring game. Maybe it doesn't, I think it just barely misses the over, but if you had to back aside, are you there seems to be a lot of like common thread about how Baltimore is a team. I feel like getting the Bills at less than 3 points, I feel like is free money, and I should be pounding the Bills.
Well, I picked the Bills. I'm in a playoff long pool where you pick. You have to predict who's going to win the Super Bowl, and I actually picked the Bills to beat the New Orleans Saints in the Super Bowl this season. And I was kind of disappointed that the Browns beat the Steelers because I was hoping for that Steelers rematch because that was a much better matchup than the Ravens. But
yeah,
I still don't think that Buffalo is getting the respect that they deserve after what they've done this season. They lost one home game this year, and that was to Kansas City all the way back in week 6. Their average margin of victory at home this season is 10 points.
That Kansas City game was at a really weird time when their schedule was all messed up. Yep. They just played Tennessee on a Tuesday. They were coming, I think they played the following Monday. Like NFL teams and sports teams in general are so much built on like having a plan and having a routine, and this happens this day and this happens this day. And when you're playing on a Tuesday and then playing on a Saturday and then playing on a Monday, that throws that all out of whack, and it's hard to, obviously they were able to come together and play well enough. I guess my question is, does the Bills defense make enough plays? Because we saw what Indy did, and Baltimore's going to try and do a lot of the same stuff where they run the ball, nothing too crazy down the field. Marquise Brown is going to do what the T.Y. Hilton role. They're going to use the tight ends. Indy was able to move the ball. They had a few missed field goals, had a couple conundrums when they got in close. So that would be my concern lining up to back the Bills.
Yeah, I could definitely see somebody, kind of looking at what happened last week and thinking in that game they had every shot to lose that game against the Colts. But this is also a Ravens team who we've seen kind of be up and down all season. There's already talk of Lamar Jackson not being comfortable wanting to play in the snow, which is looking very likely 60% chance right now that we're going to see 1 to 4 inches of snow in this game. It's going to be really cold. I just think that this is the year that Buffalo is, it's time to start taking them seriously with that defense too. They've been playing so much better on the outside. I know Phillip Rivers was able to have a great game, but this is also a Colts team that coming into the season, a lot of us thought had the potential of going to the Super Bowl as well. So let's not forget about that fact. And they were healthy at the right time. So you can't discount what Indianapolis brought to the table last week when talking about the Bills. And going back to the line, if you're less than a 3-point favorite in a home game in the playoffs as the number 2 seed, you're being greatly disrespected. So I think there's a really good chance that they're talking about stuff like that in the locker room, talking about how the NFL,
sure,
the pundits are not giving them the respect that they deserve. So I think you'll see them come out pretty fiery.
So if you're betting this game, you're back in the Bills minus the 2.5. Yeah, I think I'm with you. Good luck, Buffalo. Let's move to Sunday. Let's talk about the Cleveland Browns heading to Kansas City as a 10-point underdog. Brian, you just keep talking crap about Baker, and he just keeps playing well. The over under this game is at 57. I genuinely don't know what to do because Kansas City has been overinflated all year.
Yep.
They're 6-10 against the spread. They're 0-7-1 in their last 8, and they're 2-4 as a 10-point or more favorite. That all points me towards Cleveland, but Cleveland also just kicked the crap out of the Steelers in the nightcap on Sunday. So they have all this steam in their sails. They have all the public just saw them play awesome, beat a team that a lot of people thought was good, even though the Steelers were like a deflated balloon by the end of the season. What do we do with this game? Because I genuinely, I'm not really sure what to do.
Let me just say, I'm going to lead it off with the fact that this is Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, CEH, Le'Veon Bell, coming off of a bye week. And we all know the history of Andy Reid coming off of a bye week and how good he is at preparing his team for a matchup after they've had a week of rest.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, Patrick Mahomes has had 2 weeks off. So I know he's a pro. I know he's an all-world guy, but there's something to be said about getting into a groove. So I feel like this game, for me, the spot, I would be looking at the first half total and looking at the under, because I do think that we see a slow start. Cleveland wants no part of a shootout here in Kansas City, because if you look at that of last Sunday's game against the Steelers, minus the 5 turnovers, Pittsburgh played better than the Browns in that game. So I do not. I understand playing from behind, you're going to throw the ball a ton, but minus the fact that they basically handed the Browns 21 points in the first quarter. Any team is more than likely going to lose with that, starting off a game like that. And you know that Kansas City is not going to commit those kind of turnovers. Patrick Mahomes is not going to miss his running back by 5 feet in the air and a little jump pass. So, this is a game where Cleveland is going to want to keep the ball on the ground. They're going to want to run that play action. They're going to want to keep that clock churning, and they are going to try to avoid those quick strike drives because they don't want their defense out on the field against Mahomes that long either.
Yeah. So the under in the first half is 29.5, and per DK Sportsbook, it's getting the juice minus 120 there. I'm with you. I think the under in the first half is the play. If you want to bet the total, I could see it getting wonky at the end. And I think the Chiefs offense comes out a little slow. I think Cleveland's going to be really aggressive, trying to run the ball and establish Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt and whatnot. So if I'm betting this game, I think that's where my head ends up. That being said, if I'm betting aside, I'm back in the Browns. I'm probably going to hate myself and be like, why did I do that? You're such an idiot. But I feel like 10's too much.
Double digits is a lot going into the playoffs. And like you said, the Chiefs have been heavily inflated the past couple of seasons because of that offense. And it's on the defensive side of the ball where we've seen them kind of have holes. But with them having those multiple weeks off, with them resting starters, I do think that they're going to be a lot healthier. Chris Jones will be that much healthier on the inside. And when he plays, that run defense is astronomically better. And going up against the Browns team, who they want to churn the ball with Chubb and not so much Kareem Hunt anymore. He only gets the goal line carries, which in fantasy, you absolutely hate that. But
unless you own Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say is if you like the over, I think you let the game start, let that total creep down a little bit on the live line. The Browns are 10-7 to the over, including 5-2 in their last 7. So they like going over. Obviously, the Chiefs can score it like that. I think this game starts a little slow. And I bet that second half, like that third quarter, Mahomes throws 3 touchdowns, goes nuts, and this game gets real reckless. So I like the over for the full game, but I'm waiting. If I can get like a 52 or 51, I'm going to be much happier. But I think the under in the first half, over for the full game is the way to attack it and take the Browns plus the 10. I think they either keep it close enough where the Chiefs end up getting a late touchdown, or the Browns can knock in the back door and get it within that double digits.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking at the first half total, and then I mean, I probably avoid the line itself because sitting at that 10 spot, like that's such a tricky number
Yeah.
with a missed extra point or something like that. You could get screwed on either side of the docket in that case, just like the Bears not kicking the extra point or being allowed to go for two at the end of that Saints game.
Yeah, and I think as the weekend approach, I'm going to keep an eye on it. You might be able to get a 10.5, but we'll see. Let's head to Sunday. Let's start. Or no, we're still in Sunday. Never mind. The nightcap, the hilarious meme that has gone around the internet for 3 days now. Did you know this is going to be on the History Channel? Because they're
Yeah.
both the quarterbacks are old. Isn't that hilarious? We got a Bucks team heading to New Orleans. Third time's the charm as a 3-point underdog. We got a total sitting at 52. Where are you at with this game?
Once again, I've done it the previous two times these two teams matched up against each other. I'm all over the Saints against the line here. I just don't understand the disrespect that New Orleans gets with old man Drew Brees back there. Oh, he's got a noodle arm and all he's got is Michael Thomas, but even without Michael Thomas, all this offense does is move the ball, score points, and the defense limits the opponent's ability to get the ball into the end zone. I just don't understand how we're still discounting what the Saints are doing down there in New Orleans against a Bucks team who, yes, Tom Brady, he's got all these weapons on the outside, but they're not the greatest at pass pro. They can't really settle on a running back right now with everyone thought Rojo was the guy last week coming back from injury. He didn't even play a damn snap. He got hurt pregame. I don't know. I love the Saints against the points here. Minimal fans, no fans, whatever. I'm laying the points with the Saints again.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. I think this is a Saints control it from the jump. I think the defense is the thing that people are discounting far too much. I think they slow down that passing game. They are built perfectly for this team. And I think, if they want to try and run Fournette or Rojo, good luck. Like if you want to, I don't know. I also love the under here. I think this game is overinflated. The last 10 games for New Orleans, they're 8-1-1 against the spread, and they are 7-3 on the under. Both numbers that I love. I think this is a low scoring. I think ball possession, Latavius, Alvin Kamara.
Let's see if Latavius plays because he's currently nursing that quad injury.
Yeah, but even if he doesn't, Kamara, Michael Thomas, Jared Cook, Taysom Hill. I think they do enough, control the clock. Their defense plays great. I like the Saints. I like the under. That is where my head is at for this one.
Yeah, and as maligned as the Saints pass defense has been of late, they haven't like total passing yards, adding in sacks and all that stuff. They haven't allowed a single 300-yard team passing yards for the entire season. And the two times they faced the Buccaneers this year, they held Brady to under like 250, but in both occasions. So I don't get how this is still sitting like that. And I feel like this line is predicated on the fact that it's Tom Brady quarterbacking the Bucks. Because if it was anyone else, this is probably the 10-point spread that we see with Kansas City and Cleveland.
Yeah, I don't know. The Bucks didn't. I haven't really been super impressed by them all year. The Antonio Brown thing was weird. The Washington game was weird. Heineke kept them in the game, which
right.
I mean, as much as I enjoyed that, he's not Drew Brees, so I don't know. Brian, I have some Super Bowl 55 exact matchup odds for you. I want to see if anything jumps out. Obviously, depending on who you like, you might be able to get a better deal just betting some money lines or looking at, to win the NFC, win the AFC. But I thought it'd be a little fun to talk about. So we got Kansas City and Green Bay as the favorite, 3-1. Kansas City, New Orleans, 5-1. Kansas City, Tampa Bay. I don't know if you're noticing a theme. They expect Kansas City. Kansas City, Tampa Bay, 7. Green Bay, Buffalo is 7-1. Green Bay, Baltimore is 9-1. New Orleans, Buffalo is 10-1. Tampa Bay, Buffalo, 12-1. New Orleans, Baltimore, 14. Kansas City and the Rams, 16. It goes all the way down. Is there a matchup that you're really excited about that you think might have some legs? Like we really liked Buffalo. Green Bay and Buffalo is 7. Buffalo and New Orleans is 10. Buffalo and Tampa is 12. Any of those numbers stick out to you?
So obviously the one that is my favorite is the 10-1 Buffalo and New Orleans, as I feel like both those teams are kind of set up in their matchups upcoming that I think they have a legit shot at reaching the Super Bowl. If Buffalo can get by Baltimore, I think they have a good chance of beating Kansas City and their offense. If they get into a shootout in that game, it'll be, quarterback versus quarterback. And yeah, Patrick Mahomes might still be better, but I'll bank on Buffalo's 2020 season over what Kansas City has been able to do this year. And then another one that I'm kind of looking at is I think the Rams are a slight dark horse to come out of the NFC. If they can get past the Packers this week, I think they can also beat New Orleans, because if they can get past Green Bay, that defense is the kind of defense that can carry a team to a Super Bowl. It's something we saw the Patriots do a couple years ago when they beat the Rams in the Super Bowl, or Denver.
I think the NFC is a lot easier to find somebody coming out of there that maybe you didn't expect. Maybe if you really like Baltimore or Buffalo, then I like that. But yeah, so like Rams Buffalo is 28-1. Rams Kansas City 16-1. I kind of like both those numbers. They make a lot of sense. That being said, if you like the Rams, if you like the Rams or Cleveland, especially to make a serious run, just bet the money line, roll it over to the next week, bet the money line, roll it over to the next week. And then if you get to a point where COVID has a thing, or they get a big injury you didn't expect or something, you're able to recoup, or you can keep half your winnings and roll it over, and then you're at least keeping some of the money back. But that's something to think about as well. But yeah, I just thought it'd be really fun. And if you want to get real loose, you can bet the Rams to play Cleveland at 125-1. Put $10 on there and see what happens.
I was just gonna say, these four matchups that we have this weekend are ones where, yes, we're talking about the teams that we expect to win these games, but it's not going to be surprising if any of the dogs take these games. I mean, even in that Cleveland Kansas City matchup as a double-digit underdog here, Cleveland is set up as a team that could beat a pass-first style offense like Kansas City. If they're able to get that ground game going, they could just as easily beat them.
I think, honestly, like, of the teams remaining, I want to, like, at least in the AFC, like, I think Cleveland would be my number one team to beat Kansas City, and then probably Buffalo, and then Baltimore. And getting 4-1 on the Browns, I don't think is a terrible idea. Like, I don't mind taking a shot, because I think, I don't know, I just don't see a world. I guess I'm taking the Browns with the points, but like I think it's either an ugly game that Kansas City kind of controls for 4 quarters and wins between 7 and 10 points, or the Browns rise up, shock the world, and take down the champs, and everybody's like, you shouldn't have sat Mahomes and Kelsey. Like, I could see that being a narrative on like First Take or something about how, why didn't these guys play week 16? This is why you don't sit all your starters. That's why teams lose, blah, 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 blah. Brian, what is your best bet for the divisional round?
Well, I'm going to stick with my guns here. The team that I got winning the Super Bowl, and I'm going to be, my best bet this week is going to be the Bills -2.5 against the Ravens at home in a cold, snowy, sloshy game with big country Josh Allen over there, built for this kind of game, having played at Wyoming. So I love the Bills, and I'm going to ride with them.
It's really funny to me. Josh Allen and Jared Goff are both kind of from like a similar area, but like Josh Allen went to Wyoming and Jared Goff went to Berkeley and plays in LA. It's a very, very different narrative on those two guys. My best bet is going to be the Rams and Packers over. 45.5, I feel like is not enough points. We'll see what happens, but I trust the Packers to score enough. And if the Rams can get the ground game going, they should be able to help the Packers get there. And if this game opens up and gets real reckless, I think the Packers can get there by themselves. So that's where my head's at with that one. Hit me with your betting card for the divisional round.
All right. So starting off with the first game on Saturday, I'm going to be I'm going to be adding the Rams with the points in this here, and at getting 6.5 right now. I'm hoping on Saturday morning you get a lot more money on the Packers, being that it is under the 7. If it can
Yeah.
creep back at 7, I love that a lot better.
I
But
think if you like the Packers, you should take them now at
yes,
6.5. You're not getting a better number than that. And I
no,
have a feeling between, we're recording this Thursday night, 8 Easternish. I think between now and probably Friday
evening for sure.
evening,
Yeah.
Saturday morning at the latest, that's going to be 7, maybe 7.5. And that worries me a little bit if I'm backing the Packers. But if you like the Packers, now is the time. Jump on them, bet them at 6.5 because you're not getting a better number. And the closer to game time you get, the worse it's going to be.
Yeah, so I mean, to that point, like obviously, I want the Rams with a better number, but I like them to potentially win the game. But I'm not getting that crazy right now, so I'll take them with the 6.5, and then to Buffalo hosting the Baltimore Ravens. Like I said, my best bet is the Bills -2.5. I think they cover this game pretty easily. I also like the over in this matchup. I don't. The snow doesn't really scare me as much because that tends to kind of favor the offenses more so than the defenses. People seem to think that the offenses can't move the ball, but we saw what Shady McCoy was able to do, a handful of years ago.
Even
So
the passing game, like I still think they'll
yeah,
be able to throw the ball plenty. Stephon Diggs runs an in route, and the DB falls down. Now he's running into the end zone and
exactly.
scoring 6. So yeah, no, especially teams like Buffalo that practice in the outside, play in the outside, like they'll be fine.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm going to take the over and Bills -2.5 there. Now on to Sunday with the game that I have a side bet with a friend from work that the Chiefs will cover the 10.5 just because I dislike the Browns. I will not be betting that on any of my cards just because that's just too many points for me. I will be on the side of, I mean, this is kind of a cheap play, but I like Kansas City to win the game. I probably won't be adding that to many cards, but maybe if I'm teasing this down to say, 3.5, or it would be, what would that be? Like 4.5 of the 6 or 6.5 point teaser. I like that. The side that I am on in this game is I like the Chiefs total points here over 32.5 in this spot. That's where I'll be betting for this game.
If the Browns win this game, Baker Mayfield beats the Chiefs, you're getting a Baker Mayfield jersey and you're wearing it for week 1 next year on the live stream.
Oh, okay, I'll take that.
Yeah.
That can be our divisional round bet here. If the Browns beat the Chiefs, I will buy.
Like you could pick something for me if I have something, but I think your rivalry with Baker is hilarious. And if they rise up and they win this game, I'll get you a Baker jersey and you're wearing it for week 1 for our live stream on Sunday morning.
Hey, maybe he watches the show and this adds fuel to his fire.
I mean, he's in the locker room. He's got something to do. He's like, look at Brian's talking shit about me again. Here we go. Let's go win another one. So yeah, Baker Mayfield jersey will arrive at your house if they win this game.
Yeah, hey man, I'm all for all players having success. So let me just throw that out there. I never wish anybody ill will on the football field. All right, moving on to the nightcap there in New Orleans. I am hammering the Saints against the line here, 3.5. I don't really care. This is another spot. I like it, 4.5. I'll still be riding the Saints, but I'm not getting too crazy in this game. I'll probably also add the under. So yes, I'll add that to my card. I'll take the under in that game as well. The under 52 right now, I have it on Bovada. I think that this is again a slower pace game with the Saints keeping the ball on the ground and dinking and dunking their way to a win.
Cool. As I mentioned, Rams Packers over 45.5. That is my best bet. With that, I have the Bills minus the 2.5. I think that's a great bet and one I will be making for sure. Heading to Sunday, I got the Browns plus the 10. I think it's too many points. I am taking the Saints minus the 3, and I'm taking the Saints Bucks under 52. Those are my 5 bets. Probably extended a little bit too much, but that's okay. The other thing I do like is if you want a little more insurance, a little more fun, taking the Rams Packers under and the Saints Bucks over, and wait, the over for Rams pack and under for Saints Bucks, teasing that, say 6 or 7 points, giving yourself more wiggle room. I like that quite a bit as well. And you know, we are here with our information, with our picks. Don't follow us blindly, but if you like what we got to say, feel free to hop on board. As I mentioned from the jump, let us know down in the comments what your favorite bets for the divisional round are. Brian and I just unveiled that. We will be back next week to talk NFC Championship, to talk AFC Championship, maybe some hockey, maybe Brian will have a college basketball play for you. I don't know, but hope you guys are enjoying the show. As always, mash that thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. Let us know your favorite play. For Brian Twining, I'm Kyle Robert, and we'll talk to y'all next time.